Big D and Bubba
Have a show 5 days a week.
Think it's on their mind. So
We have an extra one.
That's how we get the podcast. The podcast. The podcast.
Podcast.
Podcast. The podcast. The podcast.
Hey everybody, I'm a banana.
Oh gosh.
The podcast is sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts. So thank you, O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better prices every day. Eat more oranges.
Eat more oranges is great.
Yeah, you're right, pal.
Yeah, I hear you, Mr. Banana. Have you been to the airport lately and talked to strangers over that?
No, I haven't. I need to.
Yeah,
I
you
might
should.
go today.
Yeah, you should.
All the cool people are there.
Yeah. Guys love that.
Yeah. Hi, Carson.
Hello.
What are you up to?
Just watching a banana.
Yeah.
Watching a banana talking about going to the airport with no destination. That couldn't go wrong.
Nope.
No.
Never
No.
does.
It's actually kind of miraculous that Bubba never got harassed by security for talking. To
Oh, I thought we were. I wasn't playing around. I was like, dude, stop it. We're not gonna get on this plane.
Oh, we got on. And we flew, pal.
That guy left too. That guy.
Wouldn't you?
He got up. He left. He got out of the seat and
He
left.
was
Like
scared. He was a chicken.
Bubba reaching around the pillar, going, "Where are you going?" And this
I
guy-
like the banana as an insult comic of other fruit. I like the banana crap talking prunes and cherries. You know, have you noticed apples always turn brown faster than me? You know, whatever. I don't know. I just think that's a good series of TikToks for you, Bubba.
Strawberries leak. It's like they pee themselves. They need their little
You need to look
depends.
up kid fruit jokes and have the banana
Yes.
tell all the little kid fruit jokes.
Oh, I think you're onto something there. That's actually pretty smart.
I don't know why I'm over here writing freaking gold.
All right.
Kid fruit jokes.
Oh my gosh! Here we go. This is
this
happening.
It's that
about to
thing.
Go off. All right. Oh, fruity.
All right, now
fruity
welcome everyone's favorite fruit insult comic,
Hi, guys.
Benny the Banana.
Yeah. How do you make a lemon drop?
How?
Just let it fall, stupid.
I laughed.
He laughed.
I'm looking at the banana over here. I'm looking at its dumb little face. I can't help it.
Hey, what did one raspberry say to the other on Valentine's Day?
What?
I like you very much.
Okay.
What did the blueberry say to his wife on Valentine's Day? I don't even know. That's stupid. What did the grape say to the peanut butter?
What?
'Tis the season to be jelly. It was Christmas.
Wow.
Hold on. Read number 5. I
Oh.
like this joke.
Okay, here we go.
So, why did the worm leave the apple?
I don't know why.
Because Noah said to travel in pairs.
Oh my gosh, Carson, what are you doing?
You know what? I take back my idea. I thought it was a good idea. Now that I think about it, it's bad.
What do you call a banana that likes to dance besides me?
Split.
A banana shake. Woo!
Oh, wow.
Boy.
Wow.
What do you give a sick lemon?
Okay.
Lemonade?
Yeah. You suck.
Well, sport.
I'm going away for a little while.
Yeah, you should.
Bye.
Wow. Woo. That's awesome. That's high quality entertainment that you only get
Only here.
right here.
Yeah, I
You're-
mean,
you're
it's
only
not
gonna
often
get that
you
here.
get a banana talking to you. I mean, it really isn't.
No. It's
Only the cool
Good
kids
thing
get
nobody's paying for this. I mean, except for O'Reilly. Thank you, O'Reilly.
O'Reilly's going. Yeah.
I'm reviewing our budget. Do you realize we're paying a sponsorship on a show where one of the guys talks like a banana? I'm sure everyone else in the meeting goes, say what?
What now?
You serious?
Are you serious, Clark?
I do have a gold I wanted to bring out. That's my boy.
That's a boy.
We got to talk
High
with him
score
a couple
guy.
times this week. High score guy.
What's funny is, like, the day before, we literally said, we haven't heard from High Score Guy in a while. I
Like,
hope he's okay.
I was concerned because he's had a couple issues in the past.
Yeah.
And I was a little concerned about him, but no, he's good to go.
He's all right.
He got hacked, lost all of his. Somebody stole his points
Poor guy.
Ooh.
from his computer, or he lost his password. We don't really know. But he was able to get back into the billions again.
That's right. And that's right. You guys excited about the opening ceremony tonight?
Well, it's already happened, right?
Yeah, it's already happened, but what?
What?
Are you kidding me?
I'm like, get to the games, man.
Well, they're on.
The ceremony seems to go on for.
It's 4 hours. It's 4 hours.
Yeah, 4 hours.
4 hours.
It's a 4-hour parade of countries, and everybody's got to feel like they get their thing.
It's alphabetical, so we're toward the end.
That's why I say the best for last.
Well,
for
yeah,
most
like,
of
just
us.
fast forward to us.
Mhm.
That's it. I'm a DVR and fast forward.
You don't think it's kind of cool to see all the different countries, like
Their little
styles and the way
costumes.
they do their thing? And I figured you, of all people, have been into that.
Yeah, my attention span is not there for it. I
Yeah.
get kind of hyped up, especially when they light the torch. I think that's always the coolest part. But then when the parade just goes on and on and on, I'm like, okay. Especially when you like see the one country that has like 3 people, and then they get followed by some enormous nation. You feel kind of bad for them. You're like,
I
oh,
don't.
this is small.
Yeah.
Go start
Hey,
having
no,
It's
babies.
the best is during the Winter Olympics when it's like, some hot weather country. And it's like, all right, here's the delegation from Cambodia. And it's one guy and he's just waving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, hey.
All right,
Couldn't
all
be
right.
happier.
Oh,
Most
yeah.
famous man in Cambodia that day. It's a good day
That's
to
right.
be him. Don't feel sorry for
That's
him.
true.
So they'll do the opening ceremony, which has been really pretty controversial because the guy who put it together got fired yesterday.
Yep.
Wow,
Wait,
really?
what?
Yeah.
Yeah, they found. Oh, dude.
Well, who would ever fire somebody before they got the results of it? I mean, that's just
That's
weird.
really dumb.
So they got rid of him. They had someone else get fired like a couple
Yeah.
weeks ago.
They've had 2
Massive.
like huge, high-ranking people just booted.
And so I did watch a little bit of it this morning when it was live in Japan. And, it's going to be like it always is. They have like a storyline. It's like watching a play. What do you call it? What do you call it when it's like,
I know you're pulling a me.
oh, my mind just went blank, where they're singing on stage.
A musical?
Opera, like an opera.
An opera?
So it'd be kind of like an opera. They're going to do, I saw a guy on a treadmill, and he's like running in this giant thing, and, the stadium. And then I was like, oh, you know what? I'm sure he's probably the main character, so I don't want to ruin this for me later on tonight. So I turned it off.
Are you really going to sit around and watch
Yeah.
this thing?
Yeah.
For 4 hours?
Yeah, I will.
All right.
Yeah.
You know what?
Good for you.
We might end up doing the same. If I got nothing else to do.
I won't. I won't. Like, I'm down with the games themselves. I'm down with watching all. I will watch certain events, but it's weird because they had rowing on yesterday,
Yeah, last night.
and I couldn't get into them. Going, okay, this is like a sport I would never watch ever.
Well, I mean,
And I know
rowing
you're
is
so-
kind of that's a rough one.
It
See,
was-
I find
But
it
you know what? When it's in the
fascinating.
finals and it's whoever wins gets the medal, I'm in. I don't
I'm
like
down.
watching all the prelims
I'm
stuff.
down with medal rounds. Those are
Yeah,
good.
I
But
don't
yeah,
care
the
about the
prelims.
prelim
I'm like,
I like to see rowing because you think they're so close, and then I don't know what they do. You get that one team.
I know.
that
All of a
pulls
sudden, it's
ahead.
like they hit the nitro button on the
Yes.
off-road video game. You hit the nitro, and then boom, and they jump ahead. I'm like, whoa. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
That's kind of fun.
So they've had games going on earlier this week, team sports that take on softball, soccer, and that kind of stuff.
soccer.
But they haven't. It's really underway now. So the games have been underway.
That's the only.
Kept up
I
to
am
date
not
with them.
watching the women's soccer at all. That's one of the only sports. Like I said, I love all the stuff, especially once we get to the medal rounds. But man, I'm sorry. Personally, you take a stance against the country. Look, we're not supposed to agree on everything, and we're always going to have differences. But you know what? When you're there to represent America, represent it. Be proud. You're representing the flag.
Jump about them taking a knee.
Yeah, I don't appreciate that. Because again, I'm not talking about football players. I'm talking, this is the Olympics.
Yeah.
It's different. It is totally different. And I think that's such a slap in the face to every American out there.
180 something countries there. Go play for any one of them.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of one of those things like, hey, if you got a beef with something, whichever one does, hey, it's your right to
Yeah,
do
dude, we all
whatever.
have
But
beefs.
that's not the time. That's not the place.
That's not the time or the place.
not the
That's
place.
what happened with the Dixie Chicks. Remember, it wasn't what they did; it's where they did it. Remember when they
There
kind
was
of
it was.
There
It
was a
was.
lot of
Also,
it
the fact that they
did-
kept doing it.
It-
This was that wasn't. I don't want to get into that, but man, that was more than. There was a
But
whole lot
that's
going
kind of
on
what
there.
started when it was on the. Patrick's like, no, he's shaking his head. All
No,
right,
because
maybe
there
I
was
don't
weeks and
remember it.
weeks of stuff going leading up to that.
Maybe I don't
So-
remember it as well. I just remember that part. So,
Yeah.
oh well. Either way, I will be watching all the stuff like the skateboarding and all that. I'm so stoked about that. I mean, you had that kid that landed the 1080 the other day, and I mean, there's a lot of. Cool
Are there some of these
stuff.
sports that you kind of like? Why is that a sport? Why is that an Olympic sport? Skateboarding to me is one of them.
I don't understand how skateboarding's an Olympic sport, which I'm fine with, but why is baseball still not an Olympic
Okay,
sport?
so is snowboarding
Baseball?
not in? Is snowboarding better than skateboarding?
No, I'm saying I'm fine with skateboard, but how does that become an Olympic sport and we can't get baseball and golf? How's golf not an Olympic sport?
That I don't get.
Yeah.
I don't
Like,
know.
golf's one of the biggest sports in the world. They play it in every country.
Yeah.
You know,
And we have softball,
Right.
so why don't we have
baseball. I don't know.
baseball?
I mean,
because
we
the
have-
best guys in the world at baseball are in the middle of a season, I guess. But I mean, they stopped the hockey season.
Well,
during
we
the
got
Winter
the
Olympics.
we got some of the best. Oh yeah, but
See,
yeah.
basketball, they're not in the season right now. So the basketball season's over, so it's no big deal. But like, you know, like I said, in hockey, they take a 2-week break for
Well,
the
it just
Olympics
ended.
now.
Well, I get it.
Because they realize that the Olympics are a big deal for each person's home country. So yeah, I see why hockey does it. And no, the fact that baseball doesn't do it, it sounds very baseball playing the we're more important than the world thing.
I do miss the Dream Team though. Golly, do y'all remember
I
that?
don't remember. I remember
What?
the scores. I don't
Such the
remember.
hype. It was. It took over everything.
In '92, like that
Yeah.
first one.
Because so
Barcelona, man.
so everyone got ticked as a country because that's our sport, right? Like we invented it, it's ours, and we go to the games and we got beat. We got beat the prior Olympics.
Well, what happened was
We were
didn't-
only playing
we were
college
only playing
kids.
college kids,
Right.
And other countries where they back then you didn't have other countries sending their best athletes to the U.S. to play pro sports, especially like the communist countries. They didn't allow that. So Russia's playing like 30-year-old dudes who've been playing basketball their entire life. They're basically pro athletes, and they're on the Russian national team, and all they do is play the Olympics, the World Championships, and they play sometimes against other countries for practice around around Europe. But that's it. And all the other big communist countries like East Germany and all those, they did the same thing. They don't let their athletes
So their
leave.
teams actually had team cohesion.
Oh, yeah.
The
It's
Americans.
the same thing
we
with
were-
the
we were
hockey. In the reason the Miracle on Ice was a miracle is because we had like kids,
Yeah.
like 19, 20, 21-year-old guys playing against the
Well,
Russians
what
and the Swedes
changed-
were.
You would know this, Patrick, I think. What changed because we were initially amateurs,
Mhm.
and that was part of the thing with the Dream Team is that you allowed pros in some
Mm-hmm.
sports. Why did that change for some and not
Because
others?
Because
US
it was a U.S. rule. The
Okay.
U.S. was the only one still, or not just the U.S. A bunch of countries were doing it, but it was basically that some countries had limits allowing only amateurs to participate, and some countries didn't. And so finally, it was kind of like we went, well, listen, if they're going to play 32-year-old guys that they're paying, so those guys are professionals
That's their
because it's their
job.
only
Yeah.
job. Like still in China, we talk about the gymnasts in China and sports like that where that's their job. That's literally all they do is practice 24 hours a day. The government pays them to do it. So
Romania was the same way. That's why you had such a Romanian domination in women's gymnastics.
Russia was that way back in the old days. So those people are professionals. Now so our gymnasts weren't allowed to have endorsements.
Yeah.
They weren't allowed to sell their name and likeness and image, just like in college sports, up until now.
I think too for a while they weren't allowed to technically sign with a college because of college scholarship because
No,
you had
No, they could. That
they
changed
couldn't compete,
after.
but that was the thing, they couldn't compete for a very long time for their teams. That was a big deal with college gymnastics. That if you, I want to say that again a long time ago, if you decided as a elite level gymnast, if you committed to a college, it was like, well, it's because I'm not going to make the Olympics.
Maybe so.
Wow,
Maybe
that's
that was
crazy.
just the level below, but that was when we finally got. So I think you're talking about it was '88.
We got beat. Yeah.
We got smoked, and it was like, you know what?
Yeah, that's when
This is dumb.
that's when the
Well,
public was like ticked.
Well, what
People
I was
started
gonna say
going,
is that
why
our
is Michael
teams-
Jordan not in the Olympics?
Yeah,
I mean, he was in
Yeah, we can beat you
1984.
if we wanted.
Yeah.
But our
What?
teams, don't ever forget this. Our teams were put together. They only practiced together for
That's it.
a month or so, and then we threw them into competitions around the world, and that was the weakest part because we had guys who didn't know each other. They didn't know each other's habits and skills, and you didn't know who to rely on in certain situations. And that's where the other countries, more than anything, had the advantage on us. And
No,
now-
I wouldn't say more than anything. I mean,
I think so.
I mean, we still do that
Well, no, I
today.
mean, look,
they
in-
still
in-
only get.
in
Even the
modern-
Dream Team got together and they'd only practiced for a few
But
weeks
at least
prior.
they all kind of know each other.
Yeah,
and
but
they
they're not
know each
playing
other's
together.
tendencies,
It's
they
not the
scout
same
against each
thing.
other. So in 1984, the Russians didn't play. That was a big part of it
Right.
because the '84 Olympics they boycotted, and a bunch of Eastern Bloc countries did. And the '84 team, even though it was all college players, it had like Michael Jordan on it and a bunch of other dudes like that, like Hakeem and guys. So they went in and they won the gold medal. So in '88 when we lost, and I mean we lost, it was people kind of went, "Why are we doing this? Why?"
There's a Dream Team documentary that I watched a few months back, and it's so good.
They were partying, weren't they?
It was a party. They were rock stars. Like everywhere they went, it was just crowds
Like
of people.
in the village and everything, even
Oh,
among the other athletes?
yes. Oh, yes. All the other athletes wanted to meet them. Everyone pictures, autographs. I mean, it was insane. But I mean, you think about who was on the Dream Team: Larry Bird, Magic Johnson,
Was it
Jordan, Barkley.
Hakeem? Was Hakeem on there?
Was Elijah one on there? I can't remember. He had
See,
a list.
Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, John Stockton, Karl Malone, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, Patrick Ewing, Chris Mullen, David Robinson, Charles Barkley.
Golly.
That's
It's
still
basically
not all of
a
them.
Hall of Fame roster.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think everybody is in the Hall of Fame except maybe Christian Laettner, and he was like the one guy where we're like, let's leave a college kid in there. So they put Christian Laettner in because he was the biggest star in college.
Yeah.
But I mean, this thing is crazy.
And they would go in and just.
I remember the score.
Clyde Drexler. I don't want to leave out Clyde. I think
So-
that's the only one.
So what were some of the scores? Did they show it like 120 to 40 or something like that?
I don't know, but I did find. Let me read the beginning of this because it's kind of interesting. Prior to the 1992 Olympics, the International Basketball Association rules specifically prevented NBA players from participating, and only amateurs were eligible for any U.S. Olympic team. So two things had to change. So first,
Wait, that was an international rule?
yeah. So,
So why were our pros
because-
not allowed
okay.
to play, but other countries'
again, let me
pros?
say that all U.S. Olympic teams for every sport only allowed amateurs, no professionals. So we changed that rule. And that changed a lot of things too. So like now, so when I was a kid, Mary Lou Retton, I think I was like two or three. Mary Lou Retton won a gold medal, right, in gymnastics. She couldn't. I want you to use that for the rest of me telling this story. Okay? So Mary Lou Retton wins the gold medal. Okay. And then after that, she was able to get on the Wheaties box and do all this stuff. You couldn't do that before because you couldn't get endorsement money and then be on the Olympics team
At all?
at all.
No,
Because then you weren't an amateur, you were
Right.
getting paid. So by changing that rule, they also made it to where guys like Michael Phelps could win in the Olympics, win a bunch of gold medals, and come back over the next 4 years and have a bunch of endorsements and get paid to show up places and get paid to swim and still come back and compete in the Olympics. So it had effects beyond basketball. But also the big hurdle was that the International Basketball Association, because they were messing with the U.S., said all countries can have anybody they want on their team, except no country can have anyone from the National Basketball Association because those guys are professionals and that they're all. I'm like, wait a minute. But there are no Russians in the NBA. All their best players don't play in the NBA.
At
There's
that
no
time.
East Germans in the NBA. Yeah, there's no Romanians in the NBA. This is what's up with that? Like there might have been one guy from, Canada, one guy from Mexico, from Spain or something that might have been good enough to play in the NBA, and that guy was messed up because he couldn't get on their international team. But it was really just the U.S. is the only one
So
that
we
was
were
getting
targeted. That's
targeted
what
by
was going
them.
on. That was countryism. That's
Well,
what happened.
what also happened is, as the best player in, what happened is
I laugh
that,
every time.
Yeah. So the best player in every country eventually, by 1992, you had guys like Tony Kukoc was actually a little later, but you had these guys from these European countries that were so good that they went to America to play in the NBA.
I remember it
And
was kind of like a trickle effect in the early days.
Now all of a sudden you have every country's best player is ineligible to play in the Olympics. So they all lobbied FIBA, it's called FIBA, to change their rules. And when they did, the United States was like, all right, we're gonna let the guys play in the Olympics. And then they just went in and smoked everybody. Here's the Olympic results: 116-48 in the first game.
Yes.
100
Who did
and-
we beat?
Angola.
Take that,
Poor guys.
Angola.
Charles Barkley scored 24 points, and the whole Angola team scored 48. That's so terrible. 103-70, 111-68, 127-83, 122-81, 115-77. This is just so.
You guys suck.
Semifinals. One of these teams is going to win them. Is going to finish both are going to finish in the top four. United States beat Lithuania 127-76. We beat them by 51 points. And in the final, the United States beat Croatia 117.
That's who we played in the final?
117 to
There
85.
was
That was
no
Tony
better
Kukoc.
country?
Tony Kukoc was that good as a international player, and he went on and won 3 NBA finals with the Bulls.
We hurt their peelings.
Oh, wow.
It's pretty good, actually. The peelings
Their
on.
feelings.
They were whining. That's a different kind of fruit.
That's a grape.
Sorry.
You don't like grapes.
Okay, I'm a little punch drunk.
You think?
It's a fruit joke.
So-
Fruit punch.
There's a couple of new events that are coming into the Olympics this year, including fast. It's called fast climb. Something
Speed climb.
Speed climb. That's
And
it.
that's like, what are they doing? Just
climbing
climb?
as fast as they can. It's like one of those where they don't know where you have to figure it out as it happens. Like they don't know. You've seen a climbing wall and you haven't had a chance to look at it, I guess. So there's a lot of
Yeah.
Do you
excitement
know
for
the
that.
difference between power walking and when it becomes running? Because I know power walking is a sport.
Power walking's a sport?
Yeah.
Yeah,
In the
Olympic sport?
Olympics,
I know it's a competitive sport, and I swear I saw something about it.
it always looks like people when they power walk are about to dislocate their hip.
Oh yeah,
'Cause
they
it's
throw
that
their
weird
legs
little
out.
thing they do.
Yeah, because I've been reading all this Olympic lead-up stuff, and somebody threw out something about power walking. And I went, how? How do you decipher when someone's now going too fast to be considered walking?
Well, because of the
Running?
style, they like can't
Oh.
lift their. They can't. I don't remember. You can't
Lift your heel or something?
yeah, something
Okay.
to do with. It's like when you're running, you're actually lunging forward, even if you're jogging at a slow pace.
All right, so
Power walking, your feet are always one of your feet is always on the ground.
I pulled up the official Olympic sports for the summer. Artistic swimming, badminton,
Artistic swimming.
yeah,
What the heck
softball.
is, wait a minute.
beach volleyball.
What is artistic
Isn't that
swimming?
like that Ethel Merman stuff?
Like they just go underwater and paint?
I'm not sure
I mean,
what that
that's
is.
just bizarre.
BMX freestyle, boxing,
Pegs.
kayaking, diving. I always like the diving.
Yeah.
Is MMA
fencing.
in the Olympics?
No.
Like, I think that would probably. Well, you guys,
Soccer.
ooh and ugh. But I think that would be a great sport because then you can get,
Judo is though karate.
Yep.
This is saying that golf is an Olympic sport.
It is now.
Yeah.
Oh, it didn't used to be. Yeah.
Roads cycling, surfing, sport climbing, wrestling, weightlifting, water polo, tennis. I like the track cycling too. The guys with the huge, enormous thighs going around the
Yes.
track.
Oh
my
my
God.
God.
To
it's
answer
insane.
Carson's question, in power walking, one foot must always be on the ground. So that's the
Oh,
difference between
okay.
walking and running.
Rhythmic gymnastics. Don't you love that?
That was what every girl, when we knew we couldn't do the flips, we really had our hopes on rhythmic. Like, oh, I can dance with a ribbon. It's fine. Put me on a trampoline. The trampoline does all the work.
How about when they throw that ball in the air, or the ring thing they throw in the air? Remember that?
It's a very fine line between gymnastics and circus.
Yes. It's like Cirque du Soleil.
Yeah.
Anyway, there's a lot of good stuff, man.
Is drum major in there this year?
No, it is not.
pretty
Did not
close.
make. Sailing is. Shooting.
Yeah.
That's
Did you
skateboarding.
see Simone Biles has been practicing a new vault? Like, only Simone Biles goes to gymnastics, like, goes to the Olympics, and is like, oh, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do this vault that no woman has ever done in competition before, and I'm going to add a twist to it.
Is that double?
It's the Yurchenko.
Yeah, Yurchenko.
Yep, and then she's adding another flip into it.
That's
And it's-
dangerous,
Oh,
though. If
she
no one's
landed-
ever landed it,
Oh,
then
she
she could
has. We've
blow
seen
it.
all the footage. She can do
Yeah,
it.
if
She's
she
been-
lands
she's
it,
been
it
landing
becomes
it
a Chichenko.
It
Because
becomes.
she gets bank. That's
She
her other
will.
vault.
Yeah, they said it'll be named after her.
Oh, really?
Because it'll be a woman's vault, and she changed it just enough. She made it harder because she's Simone Biles.
Yeah, that'll be. I don't know if I wish I had the list of the events. That's going to be probably the most watched event.
Yeah,
It's gonna
women's
be.
gymnastics is usually the.
But I mean, her
Women's
in
high.
particular.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, she's in every. She's in the main team.
Well, yeah, because she's all
Yeah.
around. She's captain. She's
Yeah.
also the best in the world. So all eyes on her.
I remember when what's the guy's name who's swimmer Phelps?
Yeah.
When he was going for the most medals ever or something like that.
Yeah, 8 gold medals in one Olympics.
It's
That was big.
Going to be the world, and man, it was everybody was into it. Like,
Bubba, how do you
Dude.
not have that gold pulled up?
What?
From the relay race. Because they
Oh.
weren't going to win that relay race.
That is a
And that
fail
would
on
have
my
been.
part.
Thank you.
yeah, they weren't going to win that.
They weren't
race.
going to win that relay race, and it wasn't going to be 8 gold medals for Michael Phelps. And then here comes the very last leg. Look at Clary!
Look at
Look at Clary! That's right. Yes. Good old Michael Phelps.
It's so great because I don't know who that person is, commentator, but that's just them. They forgotten they're on TV.
Oh, yeah, you just freak
that's
out.
just absolute joy.
Mm-hmm.
Look at Clary, and their voice changes into the banana.
I mean, Clary was way behind, and all of a sudden, like Carson talked about the rowing earlier, it's like someone hit the B button a lot on the PlayStation. He just jumped in there. And
Listen,
it was,
just listen to it closely.
listen to the excitement.
And you can see him just bouncing and pointing, you know.
Look at Clary.
It's awesome.
Yeah, it's so good.
I
So
remember going to a party and they had the swimming events on, and everybody was gathered around the television. And there's some jerk who's like, "Yeah, I read it earlier online. They win."
Oh, gosh,
Imagine
I
that.
hate that
And we're
guy.
like, "Cool, go home."
We were in a suite at an NFL game it wasn't preseason, it was like a scrimmage, but they had sold tickets to it. It's an NFL deal. We're in the stadium, in the suite, and everybody's gathered around the TV in the back watching Michael Phelps swim.
yeah, man,
Just-
you get caught up in these stories, man, and it's really cool. These athletes have sacrificed so much to be there, and I felt bad for. I heard the story of because of the COVID stuff, they're not letting family members in, and
Which sucks.
and there was an American athlete who is blind and deaf, a swimmer,
Yeah.
and they wouldn't let her mom be there as a caregiver because they have caregivers on hand. And they're like, well, we have people to help. And they're like, yeah, but you have one for like 20 athletes. They can't keep up. This is her mom. And they're like, nope, can't bend the
wait a
rules.
minute.
So she's not going.
What
she didn't
sport
go.
was that?
And
It's the Paralympics.
Oh,
She was a blind deaf
oh.
swimmer, but they go on at the same time. And the host city for the Olympics also hosts that. And I saw that 2D, and it was like, nobody thought ahead to say, maybe we need more than one caregiver for a team
Yeah.
of 20?
Yes.
Come on, that was just
Especially
absurd.
for the Paralympics.
Right.
I mean, that is the
Yeah.
craziest thing I think I've ever heard of.
yeah.
Was that our fail or Japan's fail?
I think it was Japan's.
Oh.
Yeah. Did you see what Poland did? Poland accidentally sent 6 extra swimmers.
And they had to go, oops, our bad, come home.
Because they thought they for some reason they had in their head to send 23 and they were only allowed to send 17.
Yeah.
So these poor swimmers land and then are told, so guys, here what happened. And you're going home. And they're like, what? And so now like there's all these calls for the Polish swimming whatever it is, like they want the president, they want the entire board gone, because how do you mistakenly send 6 athletes?
Monday, the men's gymnastics that no one really cares about is Monday night. Tuesday night, women's team final. So that's the U.S. is expected to win that one. Women's all around, individual all around is on Thursday, and then the individual events is on Sunday.
Okay.
Sunday and Monday. They kind of do a little bit each day.
And so what NBC has done is they've put, since they're the network, they have NBC SN, Sports Network.
Mm-hmm.
And so they have different channels. I think they're dedicating maybe 3 channels to it. So just kind of look, depends. I have YouTube TV, and I noticed that they've added an Olympic channel.
There's a whole channel on the Roku too. If you turn your Roku on, you have all the apps, and then you also have, oh no, I'm sorry, I'm thinking of Hulu when you turn that on. There's a whole section where it just says Olympics, and it has had a countdown for the last several days. And so I fully expect to go home and see an entire smorgasbord of Olympic stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I was kind of bouncing around to different
Apps.
channels
Oh.
on YouTube TV and showing it. Oh, Carson, by the way, last night I was so excited. Well, they were showing rowing, so I'm watching rowing. And I'm like, oh look, basketball. Basketball's on. And so I'm watching basketball, and I look at the court, and it says USA Basketball on the court. I'm like, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
You're going to that's right. Put our name on the court because we're going to dominate. Then I realized, high score guy, that I was watching a replay from the trials from a week and a half old.
Oh, I appreciate your enthusiasm.
Yeah,
man.
I was
And your
like-
Did we
spirit.
qualify? Did we win?
We made it to the Olympics.
We'll get in there, all right.
So what happens, because eventually the other countries will catch up, right? Wouldn't you think?
In
What
what?
happened in
In
like
what?
basketball?
No.
Well,
What
I mean,
year
we've been
was it?
struggling, man.
Barcelona, didn't we get beat?
No, Barcelona was the dream team.
Oh, what
That
one was the
92.
one that we got? We came in like silver or something like that.
Well, the one that had all the big hubbub was the one we had bronze. That was the year, the Olympic prior to Barcelona.
I think Bubba's right, though. I think there was one year that since they've allowed pros that we didn't win.
Didn't win it.
Yeah, and it was.
But
like
I think
kind
it's
of a
because we didn't
shock.
send our best people.
Well, listen, man. Our basketball team this year we lost 2 in a row in the Olympic trials. So it's not like this is a done deal that we're going to walk over everyone.
In 1994, the men's national team lost the semifinal and then won the bronze medal game, so they got the bronze.
Yeah.
Who
They
did we
did
lose
not-
the semifinal to? Does
Yeah,
it
but
say?
94 wasn't an Olympic year for summer.
First off,
no,
Carson,
in
how do you know that?
2004.
How do you know that, Carson?
Oh.
Because it's a leap year. It's always a leap year.
How do
Well, 'cause
you
the
know
Winter
that?
Games are
Name an even numbered
we-
year. I'll tell you if it was an Olympic year. Or
I'm not going to play your game.
We lost to Puerto Rico and Lithuania. What? And then Argentina ended up going to the gold medal finish.
Yeah,
we
we
lost
lost-
to Argentina.
We lost to Argentina. That's right, in the semifinals.
What?
That's right.
So again, what happens? What happens with all these things? I mean, is that ever going to happen again as these
That
other
was
countries?
at that point. It was only the first time that it's the only time they've not won the gold medal since 1988.
Did
So
they
they
go there
won
and
it.
make the Michaela face?
Oh
They just
no!
like looked pouted.
I think it was like a Geico or something
Yeah.
commercial, and they had
Yes.
her doing
They have
it.
her on the frisbee.
Yeah, I was like, that's kind of cool. I was like,
What are
"Yay,
you waiting
she's
for?
on the face."
Michaela Maroney to go on the roof and get your frisbee?
Oh, is that what they say?
Yeah, that's what-
I had
Yeah.
the sound off.
No, that's pretty great.
It's pretty great.
Well, speaking of Olympics, Lolo Jones is on the podcast after us. We are pretty cool to have an interview with her, and she's so laid back and cool, man. A
She's
3-time Olympian
And listen,
and different.
I think
Amazing.
Lolo is
Olympics.
going to win that gold medal this time. So she switched. She did like 3-person or 4-person mixed bobsledding, and they finished 5th in 2014. But she just won the world championship in two-man bobsledding or two-woman bobsledding. So, and
So
they're
now
the
the pressure's
favorite.
on.
Yeah, they're
Yeah,
the
but
favorite to go into.
Don't jinx us.
So
Don't
that's
jinx.
just.
I
I'm just saying she's going to be the defending
Good for
world
her.
champion, and the Olympics are in like 6 months or whatever. It's coming up at the beginning of next year.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
So,
of
the
last.
Winter Olympics.
Yeah,
Yep.
everything's.
So
Bubba has
yeah.
a real problem with that.
With what?
The fact that that everything still says 2020
Oh,
Olympics.
that angers me. I'm like, come on, you
Come on,
lazy
it's
goofballs!
fine, it's
Change it to
2020.
Tokyo
No, it is.
2021.
It's
Everything's
2020.
everything, and my theory is they left everything to say Tokyo 2020 because they had all this merchandise
Yep.
made, and
Exactly
they're like,
right.
well, we got to
Yeah.
sell it, and we got to keep it this way, so let's just look like we planned to keep it 2020.
I 100% agree with
I
you.
mean-
I do
They're
too.
like, we are not reprinting this.
Yeah.
No way.
It's called laziness, folks.
Merchandise.
I'm disappointed we didn't play the leap year game. I wanted to do. Big D, was there an Olympics in 1962?
In 1962, there was not.
That is correct. Good job.
I mean, I'm
D,
guessing.
I don't know, you
was
gotta
Olympics in 1992.
Yes.
Yes, very
But
good.
wasn't a leap year.
Yes,
I mean-
it was a leap
94.
year.
94, I'm talking about Lillehammer.
I'm
No,
kidding.
no,
I
that's,
used the
no,
wrong
no,
year.
you're talking about Winter Olympics. That's cheating.
I'm literally guessing, y'all. So this is a 50-50 fun game.
50-50.
All right. Anything else, you guys?
No, I'm good.
I think we're covered. So again, after the closing jingle, for those of you who are watching on YouTube, you won't get to hear that, but it is going to be on the audio version of the podcast. Once again, thank you to O'Reilly Auto Parts for sponsoring us this week.
Was a podcast, but
Now it's over.
On the radio, every day.
That's right.
That's right.
It was the podcast.